Welcome to my YouTube channel. This channel covers important information about elections in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a peace-loving country. Zimbabwe is rich with people with diverse views. Zimbabweans are politically mature. They don't fight after the elections. They celebrate together. Though it's a mixed bag of reactions. Some are happy, some are not happy. It is always the norm after the elections. The Zimbabwean government is always known for inviting observer missions, particularly the SADC observer mission, where Zimbabwe is a member, the Commonwealth observer mission, the COMESA observer mission, and other individual countries that come to Zimbabwe to observe the elections. But one important aspect that I want to discuss today is the preliminary report from the Carter Center as well as the SADC observer missions. As an invited observer mission, they looked at certain scenarios. Firstly, they looked at the playing field. The playing field in Zimbabwe is always a crucial issue where people think that elections are always done in favor of the ruling party, which is ZANU-PF. Right, if you look closely to the campaigning of the two main parties in Zimbabwe, the CCC and ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF could buzz in supporters from four corners of the country to come to its elections campaigns. But if you look at the opposition, they were restricted. So in other words, we can say the playing field is restrictive when it comes to opposition parties. They are told to follow certain rules and procedures, whereas they always complain that the ruling party is given all the opportunities. And it's clear for everyone to see. The media channels in Zimbabwe, the ZBC, the Herald, and its sister papers, the Chronicle, etc., they always cover the ruling party rallies. And if they are to cover the opposition rallies, they would make sure that they don't show the positives of their rallies. They only look at the negative aspect of their rallies. Then another element that has been mentioned by both the SADC and the Carter Center is the issue to do with the voters' roll. A voters' roll has been a contentious issue since 2002, when I started to also follow elections pattern in Zimbabwe. It is not easy in Zimbabwe to get a voters' roll. And the voters' roll is full of discrepancies, missing names, the alleged voters that are being differentialized, or be it that you might have registered on this constituency and you find your name is missing in that particular constituency and is being shifted to another constituency. That is the issue in Zimbabwe. And the opposition parties are not given in time the voters' roll in order to check or audit the voters' roll. Then we have another issue of delimitation of constituencies. The delimitation exercise is done according to the population statistics. But it is always that the opposition parties feel that they are not consulted when this exercise is taking place in Zimbabwe. So the delimitation exercise is purported to be in favor of ZANU-PF. I can give you an example of the Harare province, where it has been a trend that opposition parties win elections in Harare province. But with this skewed delimitation exercise that is being carried in Zimbabwe, we are not surprised to see that ZANU-PF grabbed at least 4 constituencies, because some other peri-urban areas that are being, given or pushed to be in urban centers have, the ZANU-PF supporters. So there is infiltration of the rural electorate to the urban centers, because obviously they know that the rural people, they support ZANU-PF in most cases. So we are not surprised to see that ZANU-PF has grabbed 4 constituencies in the rural vote, in the urban areas, like in the province of Harare. Another example that I can give is that one of Redcliffe, whereby ZANU-PF won the constituents, but if you look at the number of councillors, they come from the opposition party, the Triple C. That is as a result of this unfair delimitation exercise carried by ZEC, which is the one responsible for administering the voters' roll and the delimitation exercise. Then when we look at other aspects, again, as mentioned by the Carter Center, on election day, people wake up as early as 5 a.m. to go to the voting centers, only to be surprised that the ballot boxes were not delivered in time. Some could wait for 11 hours without ballot papers at polling centers. And as a result, this is an issue that has been raised by the opposition Triple C to all foreign observer missions to say, look, it is surprising to note that people in Binga, in Chiredzi, in Manicaland, which is about 500 kilometers from Harare, had all the ballot boxes and ballot papers in time. But in Harare and Bulawayo, where we have the printing machines of these ballot papers were not provided in time. But these are perceived opposition strongholds. So what would we expect the opposition to say after the election day? Right. Again, another aspect that has been noted is that of civic society, such as ZESIN, the arrest of 39 individuals who work for these corporates after the election day leaves a lot to be desired, because these are independent organizations that contribute to the outcome of a credible report of elections in Zimbabwe. But as we speak, you would find out that they cannot be able to produce a report covering the elections, the 2023 election in Zimbabwe, because their machines that they used to record data have been confiscated by the security agents. So the situation in Zimbabwe is dire. We are people who only witness this situation, but without coming with the solutions as to what should be done with the Zimbabweans, or in order to correct these anomalies. We need our country. We love our country. Zimbabweans are peace-loving people. But the election time in Zimbabwe is always a debated scenario. Viva Zimbabwe. Viva Zimbabweans. We must remain resolute. We are peace-loving Zimbabweans. I thank you.